Jordan obviously spoke at his memorial service last year. You just saw a clip from that. He also will introduce Baylor's women's coach, Kim Mulkey. Stephen A., your thoughts on MJ introducing Kobe?
Well, I wasn't surprised. Knowing Kobe was going to ask him to present him anyway. So it's more than apropos that with Kobe now gone, that whether it was Vanessa, and I have no doubt that it probably was her, or somebody else contributing to it, that Michael Jordan was going to be the presenter. And, you know, the interesting part about it is that Kobe wanted to emulate him, but he also wanted to succeed, you know, and eclipse whatever Michael Jordan did if he could have pulled it off. But it was out of sheer respect, reverence, admiration, and all of those other superlatives that come along with such things. He idolized this man and what he represented to the game of basketball and beyond in so many ways. Kobe's whole thing was, whoever's the best, I want them. I want to do what they do. I just want to try and do it better. I want to strive to do it better. And I remember when Kobe and I talked one time, and Kobe was like, one of the biggest regrets I have is that Michael and I didn't play. We weren't in our primes together. He said, I'd have ate him up. And I laughed. And he said, I'm not playing. I'm serious. I would have ate him up. He know. Ask him. I told him that. And then I spoke to Michael Jordan shortly thereafter and told him what Kobe said. And Michael Jordan laughed and said, yeah, he tells me that all the time. You know, so it wasn't like Kobe was phony about it or anything like that. He just had that level of confidence that that's what he believed. But he was wise enough, smart enough, brilliant enough to notice that there was so much that he could learn from a man who had preceded him in terms of hovering over the NBA with his greatness, and that was Michael Jordan. And so, as Michael Jordan told everybody during the memorial service last year, he was like, hey, you know, Kobe would call him all hours of the night in the morning, asking him questions and stuff like that. Kobe was tireless about that. But what a lot of people, you know, who know him know very, very well, he was tireless about a lot of things, even in retirement when, you know, about storytelling and about developing his companies and whatever. He was passionate about that. Last time I saw him alive, we were talking about what I was going to do on ESPN Plus, what he was doing on ESPN Plus, and how we had hoped to work together sometime in the future, who knew what the possibilities were. And so you just remember those kind of things, and you see those kind of things that Michael Jordan is alluding to, and it just reminds you of the greatness of Kobe Bryant, who spoke at least 4 languages fluently. It was working on a 5th. I don't know if he had mastered Mandarin, but I know he was working on that. Was speaking German, obviously he spoke Italian and Spanish fluently, as well as English. He's one of the most brilliant brothers that I had ever known, I'd ever met. And, you know, it's just, again, you just see Michael Jordan there, and you know who he's talking about. And it's just incredibly, incredibly sad that we're sitting here in the year 2021 and Kobe Bryant is gone because of a helicopter accident. It's just devastating. And being out here in L.A., you still feel the ripple effects of Kobe's absence. Knowing that he's gone, something just doesn't feel right. Something just doesn't seem right. Even when the sun is shining and it's beautiful out here, and you saw people going to the Staples Center yesterday for games for the first time, filled to like 10 or 15% capacity, there's just something that's missing when you go downtown, L.A. Live, near the Staples Center, and you know that Kobe Bryant's not coming back. It's hard to put in words.
Even when you just say that, it feels like if you could like look into the future at some bizarro universe that's never supposed to be and hear what you just said, you say, wait, what happened? Kobe? A helicopter? It feels still surreal. In terms of Michael Jordan presenting Kobe Bryant at the Hall of Fame, that's perfect. I'm trying to think of anything that compares in American sports history. 2 superstars like Kobe. Look, Kobe's dad is Jelly Bean Bryant, right? But emotionally, psychologically, for the American sports psyche, Kobe is son of Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan came first, and Kobe is almost like a clone. They are the same height, the same size. They had the same game. Kobe's game is modeled after Jordan. Even kind of mannerisms and tone of voice and I mean, everything. It's almost, even the numbers they put up, even the number of championships. Kobe, as I said, Stephen A., after the tragedy occurred, the entire world wanted to be like Mike. If I could be like Mike, that was the commercial campaign, right? Everyone, even when I was, 12 years old, my tongue's hanging out of my mouth while I'm jumping 2 inches off the ground, right? Everyone wanted to be like Mike. One man almost did it. Kobe Bryant he didn't try to zig while everyone zagged and try some asymmetrical strategy to catch Michael Jordan. No, he was like, I'm going to do Michael Jordan better than Michael Jordan, and he very nearly got there. I think about LeBron James. LeBron James, part of what makes him special is, to me, he's the first postmodern player in the sense that everyone was always trying to be Mike. And LeBron came along and, it's kind of escaped the anxiety of influence. There's a famous Shakespearean and literary critic, Harold Bloom, Stephen A., talked about the anxiety of influence. How after Shakespeare, every writer, because they're aware of what came before, is aware of Shakespeare and compares themselves to him. This is an oversimplification, but has this anxiety of influence. How can you escape and do something new? Well, LeBron kind of escaped the anxiety of the Jordan influence, and as a result, ushered in a new era. But Kobe was the one guy who accepted the challenge of the Michael Jordan influence head on and basically succeeded at it better than anyone else. It is Jordan presenting Kobe. Of course Jordan has to present Kobe, no matter what had happened with Kobe, even if Kobe was.
I think about him all the time. He was a friend and a brother. And I loved him, and I'm sure I'm speaking for a lot of other people who knew him. Michael Wilbon knew him better. All of the players that were close to him in the NBA, his true contemporaries, they obviously knew him better than me. But to be 12 years older than him and to have known him since he entered the league, or even before that, I met him once before that when he was in Ardmore, Pennsylvania, Lower Merion. But to know him for as long as I did, again, 12 years older than him, I looked up to him. Because you used the words, just intellectually curious. I'll just simply say he was brilliant. He spoke 3 languages fluently, obviously English, Spanish, and Italian. I believe that he was almost finished, if he had not already been finished, learning German and Mandarin. Just a brilliant brother, business savvy, highly intellectual, incredibly tenacious in everything that he decided to do. And he was a true motivator. He was about pushing you to be all that you could be. He certainly did that with me. We used to talk about what he looked at me doing. Some of the career aspirations that I have fed off of conversations with him because he was that brilliant. And when he spoke, you listened. Because you knew that he was somebody that had something very, very significant to say. He wasn't about the games. The only game he was about was the game of life and pursuing it with a level of vigor that could ultimately help you ascend to heights that you did not even know that you could reach. And when you talk about him being who he was clearly an ambassador as well, because he was somebody that grew strength over recognizing his ability to motivate so many other people, because when he was younger, that wasn't the case. He came across as being about himself. He was about winning at all cost, having that tenacious mentality, becoming a champion, solidifying himself as one of the greats to have ever played this game. And then obviously, through trials and tribulations, he grew to appreciate so many more things about his life and about the life of so many other people, particularly that of his wife, his beautiful children. The list goes on and on and on. And so as a result of that, he just became more and more comfortable in his own skin. And the more he conquered challenges, the more at peace he became. And, you know, just being a 5-time champion, a league scoring champion, a league MVP, an Olympic gold medalist, and all of this other stuff, just the phenomenal things that he had accomplished in his career. The last time I saw him was on New Year's Eve, 3.5 weeks before he passed away. And, you know, we were partying together New Year's Eve in LA. And it was the happiest that I had ever seen him. He was completely at peace. His guard was down. Anything that he had to prove was only to himself. He knew that he had reached a point, a stratosphere in his life and in his world where he was completely validated, and there was nothing else to debate or argue about his stature, his cachet, and his ascension in the world of sports and beyond. And so when you look at that, to know Kobe for as long as I've known him, the Mike Wilbons of the world, and so many others that have been covering the NBA for so long, to see him in that place mentally, emotionally, spiritually, it was just not only incredibly uplifting, it was just a beautiful, beautiful thing to see. Because at age 41, just imagine that for a second, y'all, to be 41 years of age and to know, okay, you've achieved a level of success, wealth, significance, cachet, all of these different things. There are no more questions. The only pressure that's left in your life is the pressure you bring upon yourself, and that's it. We all dream to have to reach that kind of place mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And he was at a point where, again, talking about his beautiful daughter, Gianna, she's going to UConn, Stephen A. She's going to be All-American, Stephen A. She's going to the WNBA, and she's going to be a star in that too. Wait until you see this girl. That's how he talked about her. He loved all his children, and he was so in love with his wife, Vanessa. To know that, you know, at age 41, such a wonderful life, what he had evolved into, such a wonderful person is gone from us. You know, read Bill Plaschke's column in the Los Angeles Times today. It pretty much says it all. You still can't believe he's gone. You still feel his presence. You still feel him around you. But that presence that you feel also serves to remind you that he is no longer here. And when you see that video of him sitting courtside with his daughter and LeBron coming over to hug him, look at the smile that was on his face. Look at how happy he was and how content he was with his life and where he was, his place in it. And to see him gone now, it just still hurts. It hurts a lot, and it's going to hurt for a very, very long time. I think it's going to hurt forever, because no matter how much further in life we all go, the fact that you know that he was gone at the age of 41 is just something that's pretty damn hard to get over, when he had so much that he was still willing to and looking forward to giving the world. God has a plan for all of us. We understand that. But some are a bit more harder to stomach.